see, today I relaxed. It's time. Yeah, I relaxed today.
It is indeed the time.
Yeah, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is 3 p.m. It is Wednesday, a very hard Wednesday for me. Man, I've been through stuff today. But you know what time? You know what that means, bro. 3 p.m. Wednesday Youth Lounge podcast. Me, Ricky, Mohammed, and unfortunately not Nicholas today. Because bro decided he was gonna go to it and tell us today. Love, man. So it's just gonna be me, Ricky, Mohammed. Mohammed's running a bit late, working on his other things. And yeah, Ricky, do you wanna explain? Sorry if my energy is low, but it's like I'm just yeah. But Ricky, do you wanna tell us what we're gonna be discussing today, you and I?
So today's topic is basically about how unhelpful today's education system is in preparing us for the real life. Because I mean, and all you learn about is drugs and don't have sex and don't do this, but not how to apply for taxes or how to get a loan to buy a house or a car or any other useful things that you should know by the time you leave the house to be able to prepare you for life. So we're just gonna go through that kind of stuff and see how much the system is failing us and how they should be improving themselves. But
Hey, that's
yeah, other than
deep.
that, it's all love and energy.
Hey,
But
bro,
it's true.
that's deep. Yo,
We have been.
I feel
I mean, you can
I
watch
feel like I
Euphoria
feel like
and learn
there's an
everything about
agenda.
drugs. An
Yeah, I mean,
agenda?
yeah,
No,
of
no,
course.
no.
Bro, I feel like you
It's
have an
all
agenda
peace.
against the government, bro. I feel like you have an agenda against the
No,
school system, the
Cyril hasn't done
government,
anything to me at all.
all them, man.
Yes, we
Cyril's
have a
done
right to
everything.
be equipped for life.
Cyril's flawed for
What
me.
has Cyril
No,
done to
Cyril's
you? No,
bro
he's
is
not
the
stealing our
reason.
money.
Bro is the reason why I had load shedding from 12 to 2 o'clock. Bro is the reason why I don't have too much electricity. Bro
Move
is the reason
to
why
a
me getting fiber
hospital.
doesn't huh? Yeah,
Move to
I
a
was at the dock.
hospital. Go live near a hospital. You won't get load shedding.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
no. I mean, if anyone like thinks my energy is low today, I've been through a lot, guys. I had doctor's appointments, running up and down, doing things. I literally had my first meal of the day at 2 o'clock. So I'm very low on energy. I have a bit of a headache, but I'm here because of dedication. Um,
Good for
consistency.
you.
Yeah. We're just waiting
Cause
on Mohammed.
Mohammed to join us.
Normally I'd be introducing Nick, but that guy decided he's gonna pull another rich kid thing on us and fly to
Go to
Italy. So
Italy. And he's bringing me back a
yeah,
Vespa, by the way. I do not forget, he's bringing me a Vespa, a red one, straight from Milan in Italy. So
I'm
if he
gonna miss
doesn't,
him
then we're gonna
telling me to
cancel
shush,
it.
dog. I'm
No,
actually gonna
now I
miss
have
him
freedom of
telling me to shush.
speech. Look at that. I can talk like for the whole 45
Yeah,
minutes
but
now.
now it's me
But
versus you,
yeah,
bro. There's no equality. I mean, now I'm alone here. Now you're gonna
no
bully me and
equality. I
everything.
literally am the only girl here. What do you mean, no equality?
Yeah,
Mm,
but like
yeah,
Mohammed
yeah.
doesn't speak. And Nick is the only one that really challenges you. Which allows me to take kind of a position and just say my ish with no one resisting me. And then
Mm-hmm.
now you're gonna bully me because you're used to bullying Nick, and it's fine.
Yes.
It's fine.
Now watch me resisting you. So we go into the topic for today, right? So the first thing that I thought of when thinking about things that the system has failed us is like first aid. Like how do we not learn aid in L.o. or something? Like if you come across someone who gets shot in the middle of nowhere and you just standing there like call the ambulance and you don't know what to do, you're standing there watching this person bleed out. Like I'm thinking about how the kids in Ukraine, one day they're in school, the next day they're evacuating bombs and missiles and everything, and then now you sitting here with this person who's been like injured with shrapnel and shells from the bombs, and you don't know what to do, just watching them die.
Huh.
So we should
So me, I
have
must
like first aid.
so first aid is shrapnel now.
Yeah, like
You must know how to plug.
I mean
Hey,
that's the reality we're living in.
Uh,
Yeah, take it
Good
out, put a
afternoon,
bandage,
guys. I'm so sorry to
disinfect.
disturb you in your conversation. Yeah, I mean, I'm so sorry for being late, but I had some work commitments just prior to
yeah,
this. In fact, I had the news bulletin just now, so that kept
no
me
problem.
back for a while. But at least I'm here now. What's
Yeah,
going on?
no problem.
That's great.
So I mean,
I was
Erica
saying
has us
that
talking today about. Hey, let me talk. Erica has us
sorry.
talking today about how school and the education system doesn't necessarily prepare you to live in the real world. They don't teach us first aid. They don't teach us how to register for taxes. They don't teach us how to do general everyday life adult things. So when we walk into the real world, we're unequipped. We don't know how to do things. We flop, and everything just goes into shambles. And then we wonder why our country is like this, and people are doing one, two, and maybe three, and sometimes four. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
I
we're
mean,
talking about.
it's an incredibly important topic, I think, and it actually reminds me of I'm not sure if the viewers are familiar with 5FM, but I'm actually quite a regular listener on there, and I think like for the past few weeks they've also noticed this, and like they've been having these kind of conversations, and in fact I think they call it Real L.o. So they have this segment every week where they discuss various different things. So I think yeah, very interesting, and I think it's very important as well at the same time.
Yeah, but before we go any further,
Mhm.
into this conversation, I just need to address our viewers. Um, we know you're watching. We know you're enjoying the conversation, or you are about to. All I'm gonna say is please like, share, comment, subscribe, spread the word about this podcast. We talk about great stuff here, things that young people and probably only young people would really understand. So we know you like the videos. We know you love the content. So please like, share, subscribe to the channel. It's free, man. Press that notification, but it doesn't cost you anything, bro. Go listen to I mean, if you miss an episode, go listen to us on Spotify, bro. We're everywhere, bro. Just it's free. Subscribe to the channel. Comment, bro. Share.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
yeah,
not that hard.
overwhelm the YouTube stuff. I don't know what it's
Oh yeah.
called, but go and overwhelm it. We
Yeah,
want them
bro.
to see that we're
Nikki is in
talking
Yeah.
some good stuff here.
Yeah.
Nikki's
So
in Italy. He's gonna be with us today. He'll be back next week, maybe, hopefully. We
Yeah,
don't
he's
know.
out there doing great stuff as well.
yeah, traveling
Yep.
to Italy doing I
Representing
don't
I
know
us
actually
what.
had no
in
idea.
Italy.
Mm.
Yeah. But before we go into the conversation, I just need to address something that Ricky did on Monday.
Okay.
Uh, she did us dirty there. Me and
Yeah,
Nick.
I think what you're getting at. I think what you're getting at.
Yeah,
I think I know.
like
I did,
she did us
yeah.
dirty there. Me and Nick. I mean, Mohammed got a shout out because he has his own stuff, but
Wait, can I just? I'm sorry to
um,
interrupt you, but I just want to put something on record there. I know what you're talking about, but my one had actually happened because of a submission that was made way before the podcast
I,
came
under,
into
I,
effect.
under,
So yeah, I
I
just wanted to put
understand.
that on
I
record. But
understand.
yeah,
Yeah, but Ricky did me and Nick dirty. So she goes and tells the school that she has a YouTube channel. And fair, yeah, bro, promote your stuff. But she also tells them about the podcast, but the words that we use to describe her role in this podcast actually were quite interesting. She started a podcast. She started
did she?
like she did it by herself. My name and Nick's
Okay, let
name were
me
not
just say something.
mentioned. So
Let me clear
violation,
the air right now. No, no,
pain,
no.
but it's
Let me
fine.
clear the
We
air
can
right
move into
now.
the conversation now.
Wait, no, no, no.
So
Wait, no, no,
life
Wait,
no, no, no,
skills.
no, no, no. We not.
let's give her an
No, wait a
opportunity.
minute. No,
Yeah,
let me
let's see
talk
what she
now
has to
because
say.
she's having half stories here. Right. When I submitted that thing, I put the names in order. I specifically remember Mohammed, Leah, Key, and I. I did it right after the YouTube video submission. I put all the names there of all the members so that we can each get our names mentioned in the thing. But when Kino presented us, he changed up the way he presented it to the assembly. So I couldn't control whose names he said when and
Okay,
what,
we're
and
marching
it
to
just
Cape
so
Town. We're
happened to
marching to
be
Cape
my
Town.
channel.
It's fine, dog.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So
It's fine, bro. We
literally,
know what you did. I know what you
but
did.
I'll mention you in
It's
my
fine.
interview. I'll mention you
It's
in my interview with him
fine.
on the next assembly.
It's fine. It's
Don't be
fine.
salty, man.
It's fine.
Anyway, let's talk about how the
First off,
system failed you and
shout
it
out to
didn't fail
KK.
you.
Shout out to KK telling me I must remember City's game while I'm recording this session. I hate you, but I love you, dog. Going into the topic, life skills, eh? Things we are practically supposed to know, like when we leave the house. I know I've been dreaming of like getting out of the house, living by myself and
Oh,
having my
that's
own
my daily dream.
independence.
It's like a daily thing.
And
Mm,
yeah, I just,
counting the
but
days
like,
till you leave, man.
but I
Yeah, and
mean, we
working
all have
towards it,
this
of course.
fantasy. We all have this
Hmm.
fantasy of how that lifestyle is gonna be. But like, let's face it, if we were to go into that now, we would be lost, confused. We wouldn't know what we're doing. Um, Registering for taxes, um, like Ricky said, if first aid, even simple things like trying to keep someone alive, we can't do, and these are things that you would think we should be taught in school. That's not the case. Like the education
Yeah,
system, the government, I mean, adults in general just don't teach us these things. And if people know this, it's because they went and did it themselves. But not everyone can afford.
hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
I
wonderful,
mean,
man. That's wonderful. What a day.
I
So my
think
headset just
honestly,
fell
with
off.
oh, okay, what's going on there?
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, like, I actually feel very strongly about this because, like, the curriculum I think has really got to be overhauled. If you think of it in general, not just LO. I think it's falling short in various aspects because the world is simply changing so quickly, but it hasn't kept up. Uh, but yeah,
Yeah, I agree, definitely, especially with like in terms of communication and stuff. You think that okay, they teach you how to have conversation skills and just communicating like online.
but then it
Like
falls
in
short of
English, we
online
have that sort of
communication.
aspect. Exactly. Like you in English, you have how to write a friendly letter or an email or all
Yeah, I
types
mean,
of
why?
transactional
Yeah.
documents. But that's it. It's not exactly like proper interaction. Like it doesn't go deeper than that. It just teaches you this and this is the format. So when you get there, you'll just figure out where goes what and just do it like that. And LO has so much potential if they put in the right syllabus. Like honestly, these things that we're doing, I can't remember a thing that I did last year that actually helped me in my life. I feel like LO has been more useful this year, especially talking about like higher education opportunities and funding for that. That's definitely been something that I could take practically and help you with my life. But other than that, say no to drugs. That's all I
I
know.
think there's
So
one thing LO has actually managed to pick up on though, and I think that's mental health issues. But
Yeah.
beyond that,
mhm.
I think they, like, again, coming back to Ricky's point, the whole thing about English writing. When you're writing informal letters and formal letters, do we really need to know about these stuff today? Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, you can just like
Yeah.
send an email to everything. There's nothing that you
Yeah. I
need
mean,
to
it's.
like from you
I
can
think.
just Google a template somewhere and you don't need to have a whole class for that.
Yeah. I think in the world we live in today, with the means of communication online becoming less formal, we don't really need to learn how to write a formal letter, friendly letter, this, that, an email, and this, and all these things. I feel like those are things we're gonna learn regardless, like in any case. Even in the world of business, I feel like an email only holds like place in the world of business, but it's alright. I don't think we need it. I don't think we need classes or to have a whole test based on how to write an email, how to write a review, how to write this, how to write that, because these are actually things that we can do ourselves without knowing any specific format. So I feel like certain things that we are learning in school are most definitely a waste of time, and it also we all like schools also neglect things that we can be learning that would be very beneficial to us in real life, like taxes, like
Yeah.
first aid, like all these things. Even teaching us like maybe on a baseline level a bit of the law, so that we don't just go out there and start doing a madness and all these things. So that we have life skills, because these are life skills. These are things you need to know in order to exist in
Mm.
the normal adult world. So
Yeah, definitely.
the fact that they're not
It's
being
But
like
then,
taught or
they
not being
teach you in
prioritized,
school. Yeah,
the
they
fact that they're
teach you
not
in
being
school the
prioritized,
skills that you need to get a job, but then they don't teach you how to actually get the job. Like, how many of you know how to write a CV, like based on your qualifications right now? Can you make up your own CV right now and like take it somewhere to get a job? Do you know how to find the website or go to the places, how to prep for interviews and stuff? That's the stuff we should be learning because that's what we're preparing for. You know what I mean?
yeah. And yeah, I mean, the fact that these things have been neglected by the government, the education system, and everyone else, it doesn't necessarily make sense, because they pay a hell of a lot of attention to things that we don't use or really don't care about or need in the real world today. But they'll pay attention, and our marks will be based on things that make no sense at all from years ago. And I think in essence,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, the education system has flopped. I mean, I know for a
It's
fact that I
outdated.
do want to, yeah, and I know for a fact that I want to be able to do taxes, even if they're not mine, but like to do taxes before
Mhm.
I leave the house. And I want to be able to do a lot of these things before I leave the house, so that I can settle in comfortably. And yeah, it is very rigid, our education system, and not just yeah, I mean, South Africa and I think a lot of African countries' education systems are very rigid and weak. And life orientation, Lynn, it's a great subject and has so much potential. But if no one's gonna act on that potential, then wasted potential is as
It's
good
a
as
waste.
nothing, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasted potential is as good as nothing, anyways. So there's no point.
They should update the syllabus and everything in it. Because I remember last year we did a section about like power relations and everything. And it tells you that in a relationship, some people have more power and they decide what happens in the relationship, but then doesn't teach you. It says just say no, like in things like gender based violence cases, they teach you just say no or talk to a person that you trust. But then that happens after the assault. So it's like you're curing instead of preventing, and I believe that prevention is better than cure. So like,
mm,
why don't they have
definitely.
self-defense as
Yeah.
in like a PE thing, because like, I mean, in this country that we're living in, it's unsafe, and those classes could actually be useful.
Yeah, and on that note, I actually just want to add something. Like, I mean, so our school actually has support coaches, it has guidance counselors, and all of that. These stuff generally seem to be, only available to the more elite schools,
Yeah.
in
Mhm.
affluent areas. So I think that also needs to change. We really need to get um, that. We need, the more rural schools also need access to this, and this seriously needs to be addressed quite soon.
Yeah, KK or Kutlano as we know him. Vile man. But it's fine. How do I feel? It was a bad game, dude. It was a terrible game. City thrashed us. It is what it is. I'm over it, bro. I'm emotionally detached from Man United at the moment, bro. Those guys, they're flopping everywhere. So I'm not gonna be emotional or stressed over this team, man. But that yeah. Yeah. But speaking towards the need for change in the education sector. Yeah, we do need a serious change, and the government does need to take another look at the fact that we have great resources in certain areas, but not all of them, because that is really what we need. We need resources like support coaches, like certain types of classes, and all these things in all. That those should be standard things, not luxuries.
Mhm.
So the fact that we do not have them is a problem. It is a
Yeah.
problem. But at the same time, guys, me, I know my government, man. It's not gonna. Nothing's gonna change. It's not.
Yeah.
Isn't. This isn't something that they're gonna fix.
Not
This isn't
anytime
something that they're
soon.
trying to fix. It's not something that they're actively trying to fix. The only people that really fix these things, I feel like these days, the only people that are capable of making major changes in certain places are people in business, people who own certain companies or run certain industries, because they have influence and impact that doesn't have to go through Cyril Ramaphosa so that things can happen. I mean, UCT was started by Ricky. What's his name? It was started
His name is
by
Rob. Rob.
yeah, Rob. You're Rob. Yo, sir, I'm
No, that
sorry.
guy from the Valencia Institute. Is that
Yeah,
the
the
guy you're talking
Valen
about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he started the Valencia Institute, and I think the Valencia Institute partnered up with UCT to create UCT Online High School. But that was basically a business kind of thing. That was
Mhm.
two people coming together because they wanted to do something, and they saw a gap in the market that they wanted to exploit. Not necessarily exploit, because it sounds like it's just business to them, but they wanted to do something in the education system, and they did it, and it's helping a lot of
Mhm.
people. Like, some people can work from home now, which is very convenient for them, but these solutions and things came not from the government, but from an institute, from a business, from something that is run by people who actually want to do the thing. So all these people in
Yeah.
positions of power, I feel like the world, for some reason, like, or at least South Africa. I feel like South Africa somewhat would be run better by business-minded people, if that makes sense.
That's a
It
bit dangerous though,
it it it
because
it, I know it's a dangerous kind of ideology, because I mean, business people can be just as corrupt as politicians, if not worse.
For
They
the
can only be in it for
profit. Yeah.
money. Yeah, they can only be in it for profit and things like that. And if it's not affecting their profits, then they really wouldn't care. I mean, Manchester United is in the same situation. Our owners are still making bank off of shirts and everything. And so if it's not affecting their profits, then they're not going to change the business. They're not going to change anything that's going on with the football team. They're not going to make sure that we are winning and everything, and the system is good, unless it affects their pockets. So I feel like the government, unless it's affecting their pockets per se, they don't really do anything. If they
Yeah.
don't
I
benefit
just want to
somehow,
respond
some
to
way,
this. Yeah.
yeah,
Then it
yeah,
doesn't.
no,
Yeah. I
yeah,
just
it
want
doesn't
to
change
comment
if
on
unless
this
they
comment
benefit.
quickly. Uh,
Coming to
yeah,
more
I will
love.
never understand the emphasis on diversity, yet still making everyone learn and be tested on the same thing. I feel
Yeah,
like
that's a fair
the
point.
diversity that you're talking about there, it's more of as in tolerate each other's differences in a society, as in being able to live with someone despite your differences rather than
Yeah,
making
yeah,
everyone learn the same thing. Because we all need
yeah.
to, like, you can't learn something different but want to go to the same university. You
Mm,
have to have those standard requirements to make
yeah,
everything more fair in a sense.
yeah.
But yeah,
That's
I
that's.
get your point.
I think, yeah, you're right. Diversity does mean how we interact with each other and coexist together,
Hmm.
rather than the opportunities and things that we receive and get. And in a school system, especially, I feel I had this argument with a former teacher of mine, and he made me understand that yes, people can, or you can, if you create a system of which people can kind of decide at a young age what they want to do, everyone's going to descend into chaos. If you make a system where everyone's talents are singled out and then you train them according to that, people are going to get jealous. Some parents are going to complain, this, that. Everyone's going to have a problem with it. Like there's going to be someone who doesn't like it, and it's practically going to descend into chaos. Some people are not going to pursue their things because they want a different thing. And that all ends up descending into chaos. So I feel like in a school system, there has to be standardization. There does have to be like a certain thing that applies to everyone. Diversity is right, but we cannot get diversity. I mean, diversity is a great thing. Sorry, diversity is a great thing, but you
can only
cannot
go
get
so far.
you can't get education and kind of that whole system going perfectly because there are just too many problems waiting in that sector. It's a great suggestion, but like I think if you think deeper about it, it's chaos waiting to happen, and there does have to be a standard for everyone to follow. Even for us, we like us in UCT, like if we can move towards our own pace, but we have to have our things done by certain dates and certain times so that come end of year exam, because we only have one chance to write that end of year exam. So come end of year exam, we are ready for that. But if we are moving according to our own pace without really caring about it, some of us are going to fall behind. I mean, some of us are going to do exceptionally well because we move ahead, but some of us are going to fall behind. And if we fall behind and not care, then you're not going to have enough knowledge or enough of the curriculum memorized to pass the exam. So screws you over anyways.
Yeah, but just coming back to our topic about what school teaches you and what it doesn't actually teach you. Like I noticed, like when you ask this kind of a question, there's a lot of the time, like majority of the responses, and one of the most prominent responses, rather I should say, is that school doesn't really teach you about finances and managing your taxes and stuff. But I think kind of a bit like in defense of school. But that's not how I mean to come across. But what I want to say is, I want to put it out there that if you do take math lit, you do get taught this stuff. So I'm just wondering, why is it that these stuff are not actually taught in L.o?
These general life skills that are specific to certain subjects. Like with learning how to cook, for example, not everyone knows how to cook, and that's only in consumers.
Yeah, but then don't you think it's a bit overly specific? Because like L.o, literally life orientation, supposed to be teaching about your taxes, but then they keep it just for the kids who take math lit, and as we know, not everyone takes that subject, and the kids who do take who don't take it do eventually end up missing out on that part.
Thing is, I feel like that's a question for Angie Mutera at the end of the day. Like I think she's the only one with the answer to that question. But
then that's why we should be having these conversations so that it can get out there.
The thing about a conversation, the interesting thing about to raise the awareness, like the thing about a conversation is you can raise the problem and you can try and find the solution, but if the solution doesn't get to the person in charge or in power or the person who has any effect on the situation, then the solution is useless at the end of the day. It's just as good as the problem. And so I think, and you have to look, as much as a lot of us hate the government and the way things are run, I'm sure it's a tough job. That it's going to be a tough job if anyone were to take it. If a good person were to take it, if an honest person were to take it, if a smart person were to take it, it's a tough job for anyone. So I think you also have to factor in they're not, look, adults aren't complete idiots. They're not complete. I mean, government officials, I mean, a great deal of them don't think, but they're not complete idiots. So I feel like some of the processes that are in place, she's my English today, that are in place, somewhat thought out. And just because something's going wrong doesn't mean the whole system is wrong. Not to say that I'm giving them a pass. I'm not giving them a pass. I do think that there's a lot of stuff that they did not think through. They did not process in their minds properly. The CPU wasn't CPUing. The CPU wasn't processing properly. So like, I feel like there are things to be sorted out. And but I also think you have to factor in the fact that they put it like this for a reason. The system is
Yeah.
like built like
And
this
and I'm curious
for
to
a
know what would
reason.
that reason be. Do you have any
And
ideas?
corruption isn't something that is not necessarily occur. I'm using too many of the same word in the same in one
Yeah.
sentence.
It's okay. Take a
Corruption,
break for
yeah,
a
like
minute.
all these things are like corruption. It's not necessarily the system
Mm-hmm.
that's corrupt. Corruption is more
It's a
like the
person.
exploitation of the system. Yeah, like
Yeah.
corruption is more like
Hmm.
the exploitation of the system rather than the whole system being corrupt. So I feel you have to factor that in. But to that, like on the other side of that spectrum, which is where our conversation is based, yeah, government, you guys need to sort this thing out. Like we do need these life skills. We do need to learn how to do taxes. The fact that matriculate kids are the only ones that get to learn how to do these things. I'm not saying that it's that I'm begging for it, because I do know that if they do that, then it's going to increase the workload and all these things. But you
Mm-hmm.
can also substitute some things out, because me learning about sex and different diseases every year, me learning about my
Mm-hmm.
self-esteem every year, me learning about this and this and this,
Mm-hmm. It becomes tedious and repetitive, and it's like I've already done this before.
same thing
I
every
get.
year in more depth,
Yeah.
or not even, it's not even you going into it in depth. It's you using, it's you teaching me the same thing over and over with different levels of English. You're just increasing the levels of
Mm-hmm.
English for to reach like some kind of better understanding towards it, but you're teaching me the same
Hmm.
things every year, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not necessary. You can
Yeah.
start some of the content that you're teaching us now and put in these things that are actually necessary
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
just want to ask a question
towards
which
life.
just comes to mind right now. Like, I mean, it actually makes me think
It's
a
life.
lot
I
of the time.
mean,
Yeah.
we need to learn how to do taxes and how to manage finances. We do need to learn first aid and all these things. The fact that it's fine, but not everyone is like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
what? You didn't
Can you
finish the
guys hear
question,
me? Yeah,
Yeah, we can
I
hear you.
wasn't sure if you could
bro.
actually hear me, but it actually leads me to a question
Zaid.
which I want to ask
Bro,
both of you.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm not crazy,
yeah.
right? You didn't finish the question, right? Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I didn't finish the
yeah.
question.
Now,
No.
Yeah, but like, I mean, the question is for both of you, for Ricky and Lesego, and I want to involve the viewers as well. Um, I mean, I've often heard that school is, but I think I've dismissed this idea quite often because I didn't really want to open up to it. But I think there's this idea that school is making us into sheeple, where we believe certain stuff that we taught, and we taught not to question this status quo. So I just want to hear your
Mm-hmm.
thoughts on this as well.
Yeah, I definitely think that school gives us a sheep mentality and tells us not to question things, and then that hinders our critical thinking skills because we taught one thing and then with the system, and that's all you know, and that's nothing else. The only one right answer to a question is nothing else. That's how you live your life. And my dad was telling me about the other day, like how when you're in online schooling you have that time to like think about things and question things, but when you're at school you learn the one thing what the book says, and that's the only thing that's correct. Nothing else. You can't question anything, and that just keeps us in that outdated version of life that we're going out there. Like my L.o textbook was like from 2011 that I was doing last year, and I was like, what? How is this stuff still relevant to me 10 years later? You know. But yeah,
Mm.
now that like for example, now my adolescents now they're much more relevant, talking about things that happened last year and everything, and so it's just more
Yeah, but I
updated to
think
the life that
that's
we're living now.
yeah, but then that comes
Mm-hmm.
with the flexibility of online school. They can continuously update the curriculum. But then what happens in brick and mortar
man,
schools where they've got these textbooks that have been there for like decades?
Mm-hmm. Then like you just fall behind, and that's not your fault
the
because
reason
the
why
school
people
doesn't
have
update with the
achievement,
times.
well,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
We're
like the
listening.
reason, or part of the reason why people develop a sheep mentality in brick and mortar schools is because, hey yo, I'm talking then. But the reason why people develop that mentality is because schools these days have this obsession with history. Like in
I'm grumbling. I'm
in
grumbling. Yeah, go ahead.
English, we're always learning about Shakespeare and like Shakespeare type of poetry and and literature. Yeah.
Yeah,
I had a conversation with the
but I
teacher
think
once, and he was teacher like, I wish we could learn poems, but from the modern day era, like stuff like
okay, you actually
Tupac
just
or
thwarted my
J. Cole or
opinion there.
stuff like that. I also believe that would relevant.
Hmm.
Yeah, like
I think the circle is breaking up, or is it just me?
It's not just
relevance.
you, it's
I
also
think it
breaking up with
contributes to
me.
relevance as well. Certain things aren't as relevant today as they back in the 600s. I keep knocking. Yeah, I keep.
Oh, he's
Yep,
gone.
and he's gone.
He fell off.
Wow, look
Okay,
at that.
I think it's I think it's probably to do with something to do with the weather, because like I've got terrible
Yeah,
weather. It's been
cloudy,
raining the entire
raining,
day,
all of that.
cloudy.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I
Yo,
think it's back.
are y'all still here?
The circle, can you
and he's
hear?
back.
Yeah, we hear.
Oh, okay, cool. Maybe I am glitching, but yeah, I'm saying Shakespeare was great, but I don't really care that much because he's done nothing for the world except poetry.
Yeah, but
Uh,
I think like if you look at
and,
that kind of a
and
poetry, it's
stories
an ancient.
and sonnets and all these things. Like he hasn't
Yeah.
really done much. So why are we still obsessing
Yeah.
over man like he constructed the entire English?
Mm, no, this is
Yeah,
bad.
he's gone again.
This is really bad. I
It's
can't really hear what he's
terrible.
saying, but I do have
Neither
thoughts
can
on
I.
it, and I do. I mean, I wish
I'd
you could actually
rather
hear
do
me. Lisejo,
Tell
are
us
you
your
back?
thoughts,
Can you hear
man.
us?
not.
Okay, I'm gonna ask
No,
Lisejo to
he's
just
gone.
refresh his browser and come back, join us
Yeah.
as soon as he can improve his connection. But I think like I also have thoughts on that. I mean, I do agree with him very much on the point of relevance, and where he says that there's we should have more contemporary poets compared to Shakespeare and stuff. But I
Yeah.
do have a certain reservation in the sense that I mean there's nuances that you get in this ancient poetry with ancient English, which I think perhaps
Definitely.
strengthens it. I think it strengthens your thinking, your critical thinking, your analysis. So I think in
Definitely.
that sense it is important. But perhaps maybe we could suggest a blend of contemporary versus classical literature.
Yeah, because it definitely does a lot to the literature side of things, like to the sector of literature and writing and English in general. Like that man has contributed a lot. That's why we keep studying him today because his work was amazing, whether you like it or not, whether it's relevant or not. Because like it's the same thing as why we're still doing math, like pi and Pythagoras. That guy's dead, long time
Mm.
ago dead. I have
But then
adults
I
telling
suppose,
me I've never used it before, but we're still learning it. So I feel like it's the same thing because it develops its own industry. It has added value to its own industry. Yeah.
yeah, I think Lisejo is back. I hope you could hear what we were saying in response to his comments.
I have to reload my page, bro.
I'm so sorry about that.
It's been a hard day, but it's fine. What were you guys saying?
We
We're
were
saying
just
that
responding to
Shakespeare
your.
adds value to his own industry the same way as the guy who invented Pythagoras is also dead, has done nothing for us, like isn't going to help us relevantly unless you want to become a mathematician where you'll need it. So it
Actually,
adds
okay,
value
with
to the industry.
Pythagoras, I feel like with Pythagoras it's different because his theories and equations and stuff like that, that has universal application across the world of mathematics. He contributed something to mathematics. Shakespeare didn't really contribute much to English. That's where
But
I sit with Shakespeare. I feel like
yeah, but then I
when it
think
comes
we
to poetry, when it comes to poetry, you can really just look at modern day things, because poetry and music and stuff like that, it's constantly evolving. The way we tell stories is constantly changing, and there's always something new. So I feel like you can look towards the modern day stuff, because the stuff that Shakespeare did, it's cute, but it's not as important anymore, or not as important as
okay,
they
It's
teach
cute.
it or try to make it seem. It's cute,
I think
bro.
I'm going to agree to disagree on that
it's
one.
cute.
It's cute, bro.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. Yeah, so let's talk about money for a second there and how we didn't really dive
Yeah.
that deep into that. Personally, I feel that like you only learn as much as you can about finance if you take financial related subjects like accounting and like pure
Mm.
maths and maths. Like, pure maths is not really financial, it's just more like formulas and stuff that you shove down your brain to write in the test. If they had like some sort of section that had like personal budgeting or how to open this account for investing, how to get a credit score, how to develop it and keep a good credit score so you can be able to buy a house or get a loan or buy a car or even get a down payment for a car or a house, you know. So if we could just update the system. Like, I saw a comment here that was saying something about that I feel like there should be a distinction and consideration for people's learning styles as well. And I feel like in L.o we learn about them. Yes, you have different styles for learning. You have the visual, the audio, and the kinetic. That's it. They don't actually adapt their teaching styles to make it more suitable for the people who have visual or kinetic. They just like read the textbook or whatever. They don't have that practicality. They do the theory, but they don't apply it practically, which is basically the broad problem across the entire education system. Yeah, that's my comment.
Yeah, I mean, then that would lead me to believe that it's not necessarily a problem with what we do learn, but it's a problem with what we don't learn, and
Definitely.
and having to keep up with the changes of time.
Yeah,
If we could
think
just do that, it'd be perfect.
I think to
Mm-hmm.
Queen's comment as well, the whole, there should be some standardization, but they can do so much better, and they really can, or at least they should be able to. Um, this whole thing of we kind of settle for less because I guess it's South Africa. Like it's not right. Like
No,
we
we don't settle
should
for
be.
less. We
Okay,
should
some
No,
demand
we
people
what
do.
we
don't.
deserve.
Yeah, some people do, but like it's 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 mad, because the people that we put in power and the people that we've constantly been putting in power for the last 20 something years,
Mm.
um actually it's almost 30 now.
20,
It's
I think it's
almost 30 years.
27 years or so.
Yeah, I think 27, 28, something like that. But the people that
Mm.
we've been putting in power for the last 28, 7 years, um, they should be better at their jobs than they currently are. When it comes to the youth, they should be doing better than they currently are. And these, like the failures in finances and lacking money, not being able to pay for schools, this and that. Um, I had a conversation with my mother earlier on, and we were speaking about how there are doctors, qualified doctors, who aren't getting salaries, but we are paying for doctors from Cuba who cost three times
Yeah,
more to come here
mm.
and to be our doctors.
I
So if
see
you
that.
can
Yeah,
invest that kind of, if you can invest that money into an international resource, then why aren't you investing it into your own
You know,
resources or into your own
yeah.
stuff? Like I feel like
and
the
it doesn't
government
actually just
should
stop at
be dealing with
doctors.
that. Yeah, it doesn't stop at
Mm.
doctors.
It doesn't
The
stop
Mm.
with
finance.
doctors. I think we've been outsourcing even engineers and stuff from Italy,
Yeah,
from other places. It's insane, and at the end of the day,
science,
I think
engine.
unfortunately, Yeah.
Science,
Unfortunately, I
finance,
think a lot of it.
medicine, education, like all of it, it's been
Mm-hmm.
outsourced in some way, shape, or form, even minerals. But that's only because we are investing in the wrong things. When it comes to investing in our people, we don't, but we
Mm-hmm.
would rather first invest in someone from overseas. And oftentimes the reason why is because they're just from overseas, so it has to be better. And that's a stupid mentality.
Yeah.
South Africa and its government have a very, okay, I'm not going to say South Africa because then people are going to think I'm talking about them. But South Africa has a very closed-minded, stupid mentality. It's very one-dimensional. Just because they're from
Yeah.
overseas or they're from Europe or they're from South America does not immediately make them better than us. Because if you think about it, the
It's an
potential that
oppressed
South
state of
Africa has,
No,
mind.
no, no. I
yeah,
think it
it's an
does.
oppressed
It
state of,
no. Yeah, I'm just gonna disagree slightly with that, but I mean, in general, I do agree. But I think like there are people out there because of the expertise and stuff that has been, again coming back to the whole essential, the fundamental basis of this conversation, which is the curriculum and what we're being taught. I think like the education elsewhere is of a much higher standard, but then again, at the same time, I'm going to say no. Why should we be bringing them in? I do understand why they would have a more advanced level of education, but then I think we should turn that around and say no. Let us invest in future engineers here with a greater amount of know-how and expertise. Let's invest in future entrepreneurs. We don't need to outsource these people. We don't need to bring them from abroad. We just need to get our fundamental principles correct here locally, and we fix it that way.
exactly,
Definitely.
exactly. We
And
don't,
make sure those
we,
engineers know how to do their taxes before they leave high school.
yeah, and
Exactly.
we should be
Yeah.
investing in our own stuff before we start requesting help from, because I feel like the requesting help from other countries and stuff is good when your country is set on a decent foundation of, yeah, I don't know, I can't find the word, but like when it has a decent foundation, when you've
Yeah.
invested in all your resources and you've invested properly, then you can start calling people, and then that helps you and allows you to raise the level of your country from third world to first world in theory. Of course, that is a, I think, decades long kind of thing. Not even decades, like
Yeah.
years and years and years and years, like just time. But it is, we do need to, the government does need to invest in
Local people. Yeah.
teaching people,
Yeah.
yeah, teaching
Definitely.
local people, teaching the youth the things we should already know when we leave the
Yeah.
house, when we gain our independence. Because the reason why we're losing our minds when we get out of the house, and the reason why we almost destroy ourselves, like when we gain that independence and we go crazy and we cause so much problems for the government and so much havoc, is because we're not being taught
Mm-hmm.
in school where we're supposed to be learning these things. We're not being taught how to run our lives accordingly. We're not being taught how to manage ourselves accordingly. So that, if you
Definitely.
don't teach someone how to manage something, that something is going to descend into chaos. So I the government really does have to clean up their act.
Yep, we should definitely just reevaluate the entire education system so that we can be able to move forward with the world and be on the same level, if not even better, as our overseas competitors, so that we can
Yeah.
also have a name to ourselves. Because I feel like as Africa, we're still stuck in that thing of everything overseas is better just because we will always push down
Yeah.
and be like, no,
Mm.
Africa's where there's poor people and there's no water and everything, and they're still riding lions to school. So if we can just get rid of that mentality, reevaluate our education system, we can be able to produce better equipped citizens for life and just the
Yeah.
workforce in general.
Well
But I
said. Very
also
well
think,
said.
I mean, I also think it's great to have these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as everyone is having them, I think you also need to consider that if you are going to raise the fact that there is a problem, you should be able to come up with a solution. This was just,
Solution.
I think,
Mm-hmm.
our conversation here today, I think, was just highlighting the fact that there is a problem. And
Mm-hmm.
we've kind of shed light on what the problem is. But I feel like if you are going to go directly to the people in charge and say, this is a problem, this, and this, be ready to give them a solution. Be ready to suggest something that they can do to fix the problem or make things better. Um, like plan it out. You can't just go complaining about problems and then not give us solutions, because then there's no point. Like you're just complaining at that point.
Is it just me? Is he breaking up again?
No, I think I'm also losing him there.
So
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's back.
Yeah.
Niseko, you
Let's
there?
get this lost.
Can you? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Now we can hear you.
Okay, I was
Yes.
saying this kind of turned into a political conversation, like real quick, rather than a conversation about how they should just teach.
Yeah, but I think it's one of the factors. I mean, the mere fact that we keep coming back to leadership and government, it shows that it's an important factor in this whole discussion.
I Apollo at it again, but yeah.
These comments.
Yeah,
literally.
no, Apollo's comments are something else. I can never. He never disappoints me, that one. But I think the I've run out of words. This is new.
That's a first. That is a first.
But I think
wow.
I must say, I'm surprised.
First time.
Yeah, that is the first. But I'm at a loss for words.
But to experience
I'm at a loss for words. But
I was out of words at the same time. What has life become? Oh my word, we are doomed. That's
but
great.
I think it's because Nick is not here. He does a lot of talking as well.
We miss him.
I'm carrying both of us.
Yeah.
I'm carrying the two biggest mouths on the show for us today. So even my throat hurts.
Your English is run out now. Yeah.
My English is not Englishing, but I run out of English bundles and that. But this turned into a political conversation, real quick. And yeah, that is definitely a factor when it comes to young people and teaching young people how to, or equipping young people with the skills that they need to exist and just be in the normal adult world.
Okay, so Mr. Pukela, solutions. What do you think?
Solutions, that is a conversation for another day. That's a deep one, bro.
No.
I can't give you.
I feel like no.
I can't give you. I can't give you a solution in a sentence. I actually can't give you a solution.
Solution would be to give teachers freedom to teach the curriculum with more creativity inside of it. To be listen.
But then who's
with the
stopping
learning
them?
styles, for examples. What do you mean? Like listen, let me give an example. For these learning styles, instead of just having a book under a projector and reading it, give teachers the creativity to be able to find different learning techniques and styles to students so that they can be able to grasp the knowledge and then also grasp the useful things that will help us in life so that we can be able to move on, because what we're doing now clearly isn't working as well as it should be. So we got to change it up and adapt with the changes in time.
I also think it's kind of also trial and error. And what Mary is saying here is very true. I'm just speaking on South Africa. Because you're right, Africa and a whole lot of other governments, you have the UK, you have the Germans, you have Russia, you have China, you have all these different, you have monarchs, you have kingdoms, you have all these things that are running their countries a specific way. And I mean, I can only speak to what I've experienced, which is South Africa. I can't really speak on the UK. I can't really speak on the US. I can't really speak on all these other places. But what I can speak on is what's going on in South Africa. And a lot of governments are different and the way they do things are different. So to compare ourselves and to compare how one government runs itself to how we run ourselves, I'm not saying that it's okay to be behind or worse because we are a different country with different problems. I'm saying it's better. No, it's better to evaluate the merits of your own country rather than to compare it to the merits of other countries. Like it's better
Definitely.
to beat your or focus on your own personal best when you're running rather than to focus on beating the personal best of another person. So I feel like we should just
Mm-hmm.
focus on ourselves. I'm basically saying, yeah, we shouldn't compare ourselves to other countries, but we should be doing better. We should aim to do better. We should hold ourselves
Definitely.
to a higher standard than the one we are holding ourselves to now. But there are a lot
Yeah.
of problems I mean, there are so many deep problems with concerning the mentalities and state of mind and infrastructure, like everything, like just the way people, the psychology of it all, like just the way us as
Yeah.
citizens of South Africa think alone
But we
is,
have the potential to change and become better
we have
and
the
improve
potential to change
ourselves
it, but
as
some
a
of the ways we
country.
think by themselves are already a problem, and we do need
Yeah.
to sort some of these things out within ourselves before we start trying to
Change the whole
radicalize
country.
and
Yeah.
yeah, change the whole country. So I
Yeah.
don't know, big for big.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
that's very, very well said, Lesego. And I think what I'm gonna say, I think we're nearly out of time now, and I actually got to run in a bit.
Yeah.
But I think what I'm gonna say for my final thoughts, if I may, is that I think really what needs to be done is there needs to be a evaluation, like Ricky said earlier on, of the entire curriculum, and we need to see what is it that needs to actually be taught in L.o. And I think for one of the main things is this whole situation about taxes and stuff. That is really important. And whoa, did someone just get murdered or something?
No, no, no. I don't I don't think it was
What was
but
that? Yo.
Okay, that
Okay.
was freaky. But yeah, coming back to what I
You.
was saying, I think there really needs to be a reevaluation. And yeah, I think I think one thing, just
but
if I can squeeze it in before we go, is
I think
Lesejo?
He's breaking up again.
Mm,
Continue.
yeah, but yeah, so I think like I've noticed a lot of people, a lot of my friends that have completed matric and stuff, have complained that they don't really know what to do with their lives after schooling. So I think that also needs to be integrated into the system, and we need to
Mm-hmm.
figure out, like, we need to be
yeah,
taught what we
okay.
need to do afterwards.
Exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's it for today,
Let's
ladies
just
and
continue.
gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been lovely having you here, lovely topic. Definitely some areas to improve on and some areas where we're doing great, but we need to improve because you can always improve and get better for everything. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and
How you gonna do
see
the
you
outro?
guys next week. Yes,
I think
goodbye. Go
we
home.
need to come up with
How many
something.
things to do? What I think we need to have a song or like an outro
Yeah,
music thing.
I think we were
And
waiting on Lesejo for that. We also needed an intro
Working
music
yes,
on
from
it.
Lesejo.
so
Working.
Yes.
I'm
Uh,
working on it. I'm
did
working
did
on
you
it.
work
not
in
tell us in the
progress,
beginning?
I'm working on it.
literally.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Guys, I'm
Okay,
busy
Yeah.
too, man.
we're
I
waiting.
still have books to chow as well.
Maybe
I'm
let's say then
working
the
on it.
government is working on
Ish.
improving the
Oh,
curriculum.
oh yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Fine, fine,
Yeah.
fine, fine.
Just like the
It's fine.
government.
I'll
So we
have
let
it
it
for you
flow.
within the next month and a half, I tell you now. Or I would have at least started working through it in the
Okay,
next
guys,
month
I
and a half.
actually got to run. I've got the 4 p.m. news
Yeah, bro,
bulletin
get out of
now.
here.
So
Yeah,
unless you
get
want
out
to
of here.
hear it all, or I don't know, but yeah, I gotta go. See
Yeah,
you
get
guys
out.
next
Yeah.
week. Thank you very
Salute.
much.
Lovely.
Thank you
Nice
Okay.
everyone
having
for
you here.
watching. Please
Cheers.
like,
Bye.
comment, subscribe. Tune in next week, 3 p.m. Wednesday, same time, same place. New topic. Guys, just like, comment, subscribe to the channel. It's really not that hard.
Listen to our
Like,
Spotify. It's
bruh, it's
eco
free
friendly.
even. It's eco-friendly, bruh. Like, we're not. It's you're just supporting us at
Save
this
the
point, bruh.
planet.
Like, bruh,
Yes, we
save the
can't
planet
reiterate.
even, bruh.
Save
Like,
the planet.
just
Save the
it's not
podcast.
even that hard, bruh. Share, like, spread the word about this podcast, bruh. You know you like
Mm-hmm.
the episodes. You know you do. Don't lie. You know you do. Yeah, I'm talking to
We
you.
know you
You
do.
know you do. You know you do. But yeah, it's been great. Another deeper conversation. I'll see y'all next week. Salute. Peace.
Bye.